What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of the next in the franchise of VHS. It's a spoiler-free review of VHS 85 that's now on Shudder. Let's check it out.
It's party time, yeah! These evil people have just got to be stopped.
It's Voidtober! So yeah, I have been a fan of the franchise for quite some time. You know, some of them are good, some of them are great, some of them are okay. But I've always kind of enjoyed these movies, and it seems like now that the producers, you know, Brad Miska, we got David Bruckner, and it seems like the producers keep bringing it back here, especially on Shudder on Halloween around that time, and I'm really thankful for it. This is the next version, which is a 1985 version, which is more thematically themed around like the 80s, and it even is shot in a lot of that square box kind of way, so it has a lot of the same aesthetics that you would have gotten during that time. And imagine, if you will, if you found a tape on the shelf that had like a documentary on it about this crazy alien thing, and it was like an 80s documentary, and parts of it were taped over with other segments of other movies from different, you know, places. Like somebody else had been passing the tape along and taped over some of their favorite stuff with some of this like lost found footage stuff. Essentially what the story is that it is a documentary that is being taped over, and there are 5 tales that are found footage horrors that emerge to take the viewers on a terrifying journey into the grim underbelly of the 1980s. Of course, this is going to be a big one for a lot of people because everybody loves the 80s, at least a lot of us old folks do. So we get director David Bruckner, who's also one of the producers with his Radio Silence. He's been doing it since the beginning. We got David Bruckner, who did The Night House, The Ritual on Netflix. We got Scott Derrickson, who does The Black Phone, that movie. We got Natasha Kermani, who did a segment in here, and she did a movie before this called Lucky, which was about this serial killer that just keeps killing this woman over and over and over again, which was really unique. We got Mike P. Nelson, who did the remake of Wrong Turn and The Domestics. And we also get Gigi Saul Guerrero, who has actually done the Bingo Hell movie that came out on Amazon. And she also did a segment in Satanic Hispanics, which we're still waiting to see at the end of this month as well. Which even Demian Rugna, who did the Terrified movie and just put out When Evil Lurks, did a short on there. So she's got a lot of stuff coming out too. But yeah, this is a really different one than I think I've seen in the entire franchise. This probably has one of the best wraparounds in the entire franchise, in my personal opinion. It feels fully realized as far as that goes, because usually the wraparound is that segment in between each of the segments that's kind of happening in the background, and they really don't give it that much, you know, love or attention. I think one of my least favorite ones of those were the 1994 one, where it was like this big organization that they didn't really, I don't know, something about it just didn't fit for me. But this one corrects that and puts a lot of pressure on this wraparound story, and the segments are kind of just like the topping or the dressing. So that may confuse a few people, I think, while watching this, because they intercut all of this together. It almost seems seamless, like it's all part of the same aesthetic thing that 5 directors, completely different directors, did all of these segments on. And I think it is kind of interesting that way. It makes it like seem a little bit more like a whole movie than just, hey, segment. This feels like a tape that you would have found at like a thrift store and just kind of like put on and been like, what the hell? So I love that. I think that's really cool. And I think that they collaborated and made a more creative movie this way. This is also a pretty brutal movie. There's a lot of gore in it, although it's not exactly as horror centric as some might find or want. You know, I find that I'm a little bit more forgiving of these shorts than a lot of other people. A lot of people, I think, have really high expectations And they're a little unrealistic when it comes to these anthologies. Like, movies get made on a really big budget for one single story. These are sometimes shorts that are made on a really small budget that barely have enough money and sometimes have to spend money out of pocket to make them happen. I feel like you have to lower your expectations. And I always say, this is something, it's a practice in using very little to make a lot. And sometimes that can work and sometimes that doesn't work. And so sometimes we get better shorts and segments and sometimes not so much. So you really kind of have to take the bad with the good and vice versa. This one I think is pretty solid for the most part. And it's definitely well within the last few that we've seen. I think they all kind of blend together pretty well for the most part. But like I said, this one's very different. This feels a little bit more whole as a part of like this one particular tape that you're going to watch. And I love that they interweave it with like commercials and like different movies that are out. I think there was a segment from a movie that Severin put out that we just did on the podcast that they kind of interweaved in there. And I looked in the credits and I was like, oh, there it is. Okay. So it's seamlessly kind of blending and, you know, like the tracking's off. You get to see the little play thing at the top. I think all of the segments were pretty decent. They were all extremely graphic. Like there was a lot of gore and graphic stuff in it. Like I said, it wasn't exactly scary. Like some people really want to watch a found footage movie that is going to like scare them. And, you know, these are a little bit more on the fun side. Like the last sort of VHS, the 99 one that we saw, was a little bit more on the comedic side. This is a little bit more serious, but also you can obviously tell that they're sort of having fun with it. In my mind, I picture this is a way that directors can like actually have fun. So that's probably why you're getting that. That may be a good thing or a bad thing for some. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reactions on this particular one. I personally really like it, and I don't think it's one of the worst ones at all. In fact, I think it definitely elevates it in some ways while sort of remains mid on other ways. And it sucks too, because like I know I like this one, but I know some of my friends are not going to be fans of it. In fact, I already know one of my friends didn't, but his girlfriend did. Callie, shout out. She knows what's good. But yeah, no, I actually, I really enjoyed it. I think you will too, for the most part. For me, I think it's been a pretty good year so far, so we should be celebrating horror no matter what. There's always going to be something for us to enjoy out there. And even if we don't agree on everything, hopefully I can give you enough information or, you know, to kind of jump off of like what I like. But you never know, right? Like it's like everybody just sometimes doesn't like the same stuff, or sometimes we just love the same thing. That's kind of the greatest thing about horror in a way, you know, is that there's something that's always going to resonate with us more than others. But I think with these, I just expect to have fun, and that's what I want from VHS, and that's what I got from it this time. 2 segments out of here that kind of interweave together. They do some different things in here that's super creative that I thought was pretty unique, you know? I expect them to not have a lot of money, and so therefore it's like, hey, impress me with how very little you have. While others may be looking for like the $8 million budget that Creepshow the movie was, you know? And that's just not gonna happen. Not with these, not with anthologies really anymore, to be honest with you. They may see $1 million to $2 million at most, and I don't even know how much this one was made on, but I enjoyed it. I think it's one of the better ones, and you know, it's towards the middle to top, but I am probably going to be doing my top favorite VHS franchise here, including the Snapchat one that was only like little tiny segments that they did, that they strung together in this one big story. It's going to be really hard because there's just so many that you have to compare, and it's not going to be real easy because, you know, every segment has a little something that I like but don't like overall, or one segment that it just stands out. So it really just matters what type of segments you get. Now, these segments didn't blow me away. I think they feel a little bit more together, if that makes sense. They didn't like, none of them just like pop out like that Safe Haven one, but like it does definitely have some good stuff in it and some interesting stories. So, but yeah, I actually actually really like the aesthetic of this one. I think it was really cool. And I hope that going forward that they kind of blend these like they did with this one in some way. And I hope to see this franchise continue. You know, it's something I look forward to every year, every October, it seems. Shudder's putting out an original. So yeah. What did you think though? I mean, have you seen it already? What did you think of the segments? Did you enjoy all of them? I think 2 of them were really good in this one and the rest were just okay, but I still really kind of liked watching the whole thing as a whole. Like, I feel like this one's an easier one to watch than a lot of them because it's just this weird experience that you're going to have. But I would love to hear what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know what your favorite VHS is, and if you would like to see me do my top of all of these, including the Snapchat one. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Happy Voidtober. I hope you're enjoying all the reviews. I'm busting my ass to try to get all these done. It's really hard because I just got so much work to do. In fact, I got to record the podcast directly after this. I won't even have time to edit this until after that. So thank you guys so much for all the support and love. Please share this with somebody you like or know so that we can get the algorithms beat. I want to try to hit 5,000 by the end of this month. I think that's a very achievable goal, but we'll see. Well, hopefully we can do it. But thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.